Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Gryn. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Gryn. I hope you had a great weekend and hopefully you had some chance to listen to my interview with Ian Clark. He's the CEO of Activation Products. He's developed some really cool protocols and products around natural healing. He was actually pretty much on his deathbed, terminal illness, age of 46, and now he's thriving at the age of 66. So we touched on some of the great products that he's developed and come out with. One of them, marine phytoplankton. We got into unrefined sea salt and much, much more. So if you haven't checked it out, it's worth a listen. My interview with Ian Clark, that's episode 326. Now, in today's micro podcast, I wanted to get into a study that I think would be relevant for everybody. It's comparing the effects of free weights versus body mass-based resistance training. And let me just share it with you real quick if you're watching on YouTube. There we go. So really cool study done recently, May of 2023. May of 2023, excuse me. The effects of free weight and body mass-based resistance training on thigh muscle size, strength, and intramuscular fat in healthy young and middle-aged individuals. And the question around it was, how do you build muscle? Can you build muscle with doing body weight exercises compared to resistance training with free weights? And they did an 8-week comparison measuring the quads. And I thought the conclusions was pretty interesting because, a lot of people think, and I'll stop sharing, but I definitely will put a link in the show notes if you want to read more. I'm just going to give you the highlights. But, a lot of people wonder, well, can you build muscle doing a body weight resistance program versus like a free weight program where you would probably do that maybe in the gym if you have no weights at home? And you can build muscle. In this study alone, the researchers measured muscle hypertrophy at the beginning of the study and then after 8 weeks of training. They measured the muscle cross-sectional areas of the quads, the 4 quad muscles. At the end of the 8-week study, the body weight only resistance training group increased the size of their quads by 3.6%. That's a decent amount over 8 weeks. In comparison, the free weight resistance training group increased their quads by 6.3%. So I think the takeaway message is, yes, you can build muscle both using free weights and body weight. You have to make sure that obviously, you're getting enough stimulus on the muscle. So if it's someone that's maybe a little bit more of an experienced lifter, a body weight program might not work for them. But for someone that's starting out or maybe just a year or two into their lifting journey, I think a body weight only resistance training program can be effective. It's easy to do at home. You sort of get the excuses out of the way. And so, yeah, I think definitely worth a try if you've not done it. One of the things that I've included with my book, The Stepladder System, is I have a body weight build your muscle in your basement companion guide that I sell alongside the book. So if you do purchase the book, you can also purchase this Build Muscle in Your Basement guide that I put a bunch of videos on and what to do. So check that out if you haven't already. But I think the take home message is this: if you're experienced, you might have to add some more resistance and some weights to the equation. But if you're just starting out, you can build muscle doing a body weight resistance program. And if you're probably thinking, well, how can I sort of gauge that? Well, I've talked about it before, but you can do a DEXA scan and it'll measure your quad length, your quad circumference and your muscle mass within each body part. And then you can sort of see how you've grown, see if it's effective. So I'm all about self-experimentation. And if doing a body weight program and out of your house takes the excuses out, I'm all for it. So pretty cool study. I'll leave a link in the show notes. And if you have any questions, you can email me, brian@briangryn.com. Have a great rest of the week. And if you did want to check out the Stepladder System, my book, just go to briangryn.com and you can click on the link there and check that out. And I do have a sort of an at-home body weight program with some minimal weights involved that you can do in your basement. So that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you listening. If you do love the podcast, feel free to leave a review. Have a great rest of the week. The sun is finally coming out in Chicago. What do you know? So I appreciate it. Have a great day, and I will talk to you on Friday with another great interview. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangryn.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.